What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at DreamRare. Also, I just launched a new store with a bunch of cool shirts if you would like one at dreamrare.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Legendary Energy. Check out my website at legendary.vision. So today, bombshell evidence that, honestly, I've known for multiple days, but now I have to act all surprised because that's the trendy thing to do, is to not question anything. Just agree with what you're told, eat this food, go to work, and shut up. But oh my goodness, bombshell evidence found that a cell phone charger was found in the Las Vegas shooter's room that didn't belong to him. And I've been doing research for several days. I've been being patient because I want to see what more comes out. At the right time, I'll probably make a comprehensive video. I just want to see more evidence. But a cell phone charger not found to his room is the new bombshell evidence by the mainstream media. However, I've been following independent sources for multiple days, and I've seen proof of multiple other things that showed multiple people. First of all, there's many independent journalists on Twitter that are going to Vegas, that are going to employees of Mandalay Bay, and they found out that he had a receipt of room service that said for two. Of course, that could just be a mistake. Maybe he ordered a lot of food and they thought it was two people, but it could just say one or two people and it said two on it. There's also multiple reports by people who work for the Mandalay Bay and also work for the valet that showed he actually came in 3 days before the official story of when he got to the hotel. I watched the interview of his brother talk for 33 minutes saying, oh my goodness, my brother was such a great guy. He's such a smart guy. Trust me, he did it all by himself. The brother said he knew nothing about it. To me, that's the most telling piece of evidence. If you want to really learn a little bit about this or question it at all, I don't know. If you don't want to question it, think everything, nothing exists, it's just a lone shooter with no motive or whatever, then you can be that person. That's fine. I respect that. But if you want to question things like most intelligent people do, check out the interview of his brother who talks for 33 minutes. He says, I don't know anything. My brother's a great guy, but I don't know anything. But then he somehow names like everything that happened. He's like, oh yeah, I'm sure he used, he had the bump stocks, he probably had tripods, he had the bellhops bring up all the guns. It's no big deal. He probably just paid the bellhops. It's like, for someone who doesn't know anything, he sure was talking a lot. And they found out, according to the mainstream media story, is he didn't use bellhops. They said that he brought the bags up himself and was checking times with employees to make sure that they didn't see. So his brother was like, hey, for sure he probably used bellhops because his back hurt. And then, of course, the story that the media comes out with is, no, he didn't use bellhops. He brought them up all himself. I have many, many questions about this shooting, as I think any rational person would. And I'm being patient to see what the authorities come up with first, because I know it's an ongoing investigation. Once they halt the investigation, I'll get more into it. But another thing to consider is ISIS claims responsibility for this attack 3 times. They did it when it first came out, and then they did it in their newsletter, in their monthly newsletter. And ISIS doesn't usually claim attacks for things that they haven't done. This is just a known fact. They almost never lie about it. In some cases, they haven't claimed attacks that they have been found responsible for. So it's not like they're gung-ho to claim responsibility for everything. That's another fact in there. I've seen the article, 16 things to question, and then I've seen the counter article, 16 reasons why you shouldn't question anything. I'm just being very open-minded. Once again, the report is today that they found another cell phone charger in his room. Oh wow, what a surprise. Come on, the dude had 27 guns in his room. He broke out 2 windows, and then mass fired out of 2 windows, one person with 27 guns and 2 different windows across the suite. Come on. What type of rational person doesn't have a few questions? I'm not saying to scream conspiracy and say, oh my God, I'm not that type of person. But if I'm going to be like, oh no, it's just a lone wolf shooter and we need to take everybody's guns away, to me that's moronic. Let's at least solve this mystery before we start, ramping up gun control, because what really went on here? I mean, let's be honest about it before we get to it. And I have a few questions. My question is, that hasn't been answered while we're on the topic. My questions are, okay, so if he brought up 27 guns and he didn't use a bellhop, or he did use a bellhop, where was he hiding 27 guns? Were they all in his van? Were they delivered there? Because 27 guns are not something that easily fits in any car or van. I guess if you have a lot of trunk space, but still, where are these guns coming from? How long did it take him to get up? Where's the footage of him bringing those guns up and down? Where's any of the video footage? Of course, I'm going to be patient and wait for it. It's not my job or anything, and I'm not demanding that I see it. I know authorities need to see it first, but I mean, this is a Las Vegas hotel with thousands of cameras everywhere. They look at you funny if you win too much money. They look like they want to, murder you and get you out of the hotel. So, I'll find it very hard to believe if all this comes out. They say, oh, no motive, no religion, no shooter, no nothing, no political affiliation. Oh, it's just a lone wolf shooter, we got to take everyone's guns away. I'm not believing it. There's thousands of cameras that could show people going into his room, out of his room, all over the hotel, what he was doing. I listened to what his girlfriend said. I listened to what his brother said. I mean, just watch the interview of his brother. The dude talks for 33 minutes and says a lot of stuff and starts to say, and then stops himself and was like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's like, don't hold me against that. I mean, personally, I'm waiting to see what more happened, but I'm thinking, and this is just purely speculation, it's not a big statement or anything, but I think he was an arms dealer of some sort to have 27 guns in the room that he literally never used, or some sort of a weird setup. I mean, to me, that makes more sense than, oh, he's a lone shooter who just smashed out 2 windows and just mowed down a bunch of people and just left 27 guns just perfectly aligned. So when they took the picture, it's like, different gun, different gun, different gun. Oh, we got to ban all those now. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. And another question that still hasn't been answered of mine is, at what point did the alarms go off when someone smashed out a window and then smashed out another window on the other side of the suite? To me, this is one of the biggest questions that nobody has asked yet. But when you smash out a major window at a major hotel in a suite, isn't there some sort of alarm when the window smashes completely out? Didn't anybody see or hear the window being completely smashed out? Let alone they're saying that he smashed out this window, shot a bunch of people, went over to the other window, smashed out that window, shot out the one person in 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so. The official story is ridiculous. I can almost guarantee there were multiple people coming in and out of his room, because he's got 27 guns there, multiple windows with multiple guns. I mean, why would it be one person? And then his brother's on TV sounding like, a cover-up agent, whether he's related or not, whether it's a setup or not. I'm just questioning like any decent, intelligent person would. But his brother sounds like a cover-up operation. He said, no, my brother's a genius. He did this all by himself. Trust me. He had the bellhops do this. He had the tripod. He did it all by himself. Trust me. That's the type of guy my brother was. My brother... And on the same hand, he's like, my brother's a great guy. My brother loves me and my family and sent us a bunch of money, and he would never hurt a fly. He's such a great guy. So in one hand, oh, my brother's a great guy. He would never do anything. And on the other hand, he's like, oh, totally. He did that. Don't even question the narrative. It's like, is he the brother? Is he a real person? Is he a cover-up agent? I don't really know, because he's like, oh, yeah, He had it on tripods, he used the bump stocks, he probably had this happen, he did it all by himself. Trust me, that's the type of person my brother was. He did it all by himself. If your brother isn't the type of person that's a gun person, then how did he do all this stuff with the guns? If your brother's not the type of person to, shoot a bunch of 500 innocent people, then how are you so sure that he did it alone? I mean, this alone, I'm just dumbfounded that people don't question anything. I mean, to me, it's just blatantly obvious that there's so many holes in the story. And modern society, they yell at you if you question things. Get back in line. Get back in your desk. Go back to work. Go, do this. It's like, come on. So they found a cell phone charger in the room. Oh my goodness. Wow, what a bombshell story. I can't believe there's another cell phone charger. sure there were multiple people, if not at least one other person in the room. Who knows when the attack happened, what happened, but I'm telling you, there's multiple holes in this story, and there's nothing wrong with questioning them. I do want to combat fake news, and when people say, oh my God, people are firing from the 4th floor, you can find another video of that strobe light. It was going off earlier in that concert, so theories like that, I can debunk, and I'm planning on making a whole video really saying what's going on and leaving the open questions and debunking things that people are sharing. But I mean, I would say let's pay attention to what happened here before we start screaming politics and screaming new laws. What's going on? What even happened here in the first place? Because if it's a terror-related activity or it's some sort of setup, maybe it's not a great idea to, push your politics onto the situation. And the weirdest part to me now, before I go, the weirdest part to me is somebody that's grown up my whole life being pro-environment, pro-social justice, very classic liberal, supported progressive candidates in the last election, against the Democrats. And I'm getting targeted now. They somehow manipulated people to think anybody who questions anything or has like an intelligent, rational conversation is like a right-wing shill. Like, I ask questions and I'm like, hey, like, I'm like a rational person who wants to have a conversation, and like I want to, talk about things and use logic and facts and reality and like weigh out all sides, like read this newspaper, and like I'm getting screamed at by people who are like super extremists now. They're like, you're a right-wing extremist, it's a right-wing conspiracy theory. No, you dum-dums. They just dumb down the progressive side and dumb down the liberal side to not question anything. And now, because of what happened, the weird shift in the world and politics, you have conservatives now that like to question things. They're questioning official narratives, and they're doing, investigative journalism and research, the things that the newspapers are supposed to do. It's not my fault that conservatives are doing that, and then I want to lend an ear to listen to them. It's like, I got attacked on Twitter yesterday. I got attacked by multiple friends of mine who just spew out nonstop hate every day, like 15 statuses, and I'm like, hey, do you want to have a rational conversation about this and like, weigh out both sides and not just blame the president for every single shortcoming and thing that's ever happened in the world ever? And they're like, bro, that's not a good look for you, bro. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, having a conversation that's not a good look for me? And then I get blocked immediately, or I get called a bunch of labels and names. It's like, at what point did being a liberal or progressive mean not being able to question anything or being able to have a conversation? Maybe it's not everyone else's fault. Maybe we should question things. Maybe we should have a conversation. Maybe we should, be patient and see what happens. I'm not saying to jump gung-ho, but it's like when all this information comes out and the public acts super surprised, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. It's like, well, many of us have known this for 15 plus years. So when the news comes out that, the government's spying on Trump and the government's spying on everyone, and they're using Samsung smart TVs to spy on people, and they're able to, manipulate and control cars. Half the public doesn't care. Half the public's like, oh my God, that's a bombshell. And the rest of the rational people, not a partisan issue, left or right, are like sitting here like, we've known this for 10 years. Oh, the media is lying about Bernie Sanders. Oh my goodness, the media is lying about Trump. Yeah, we've known this for 15 plus years. Welcome to the party. Everybody's just joining now. Oh my goodness, the intelligence communities might not be telling the truth about something. Wow. Oh my God. Everyone told me because Trump's such a terrible person that I believe the intelligence communities. And that's my whole argument. It's like, hey, maybe this didn't happen. They're like, well, bro, are you going to go against the 7 intelligence communities? Bro, who are you to go against the intelligence communities? I mean, have you followed history? Have you looked at what happened to Martin Luther King? Have you seen the documents that they sent him? Have you paid attention the last 30 years? Or has Donald Trump's presence just made everybody complete low-level morons? I mean, at what point, when I was liberal and progressive and questioning these things, I'm a hero. People are like, yeah, fight the system. And now Donald Trump gets in office and all of a sudden you can't question anything. And it's like, well, the intelligence communities told me so. Really? Well, what's their track record? What have they done? What wars have they started? What lies and propaganda have they spread throughout the world? I mean, come on, people. people are losing it. The rationality is gone, the common sense is gone, and that's fine. If you want to feel that way, it's no problem. But the amount of times I've been attacked over the past week for like questioning basic things when it comes to the president or Puerto Rico or, you know, this shooter with the cell phone now that this video is about, oh my God, they found a cell phone. Well, I mean, if you just believe everything you hear, like the first thing on the news, you're literally going to be lied to. And it has nothing to do with this Las Vegas incident. It has to do with everything that's happened over the past 20 years. Oh, well, you're this, you're that. Now, the whole reason I even make these videos is because I started paying attention to the news. I knew it was lying. I've been saying it since 2008. But I started paying more in depth, and I found out how much they're lying. They're lying about virtually everything. So why would this situation be any different? Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, I know the news is lying about everything, but when they hate on Trump, you know, I'm going to agree with it because I hate Trump. What type of logic is that? Oh, well, I know the news is lying about everything, but, you know, don't question the Vegas thing. I mean, let's believe everything they say. No, I listen to the news. That's the difference. And people can hate on me. People can do this, but I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. Well, and that's not me judging. That's not me hating. That's just me telling the truth. While everybody else is watching a bunch of TVs and movies, which are literally fake scripted shows, I'm not hating. I'm just saying what they are. They're literally fake scripted shows that are either based off reality or completely not based on anything. I'm studying. I've been studying the past 2 years. I'm not bragging. I'm not holding against other people. It's just the truth. So while everyone else is watching these fake TV shows and not paying attention to reality, I'm studying reality. I'm reading all of the news. I'm reading the investigative journalists on Twitter. I'm listening to the investigative journalists on YouTube and Facebook. I'm listening to everyone. And I'll tell you, with the Las Vegas story, something doesn't add up. That's why even the police sheriff of Vegas is like, oh, this might be terror related. There might be more people involved. He knows that. They're just waiting for a way to break it to the public because the public is so dumbed down by lies, by fake TV, by scripted shows, by advertisements, by pharmacy pills, that if you tell the truth to someone, kind of like the president does sometimes, everybody loses their rocker. Like, whoa, I can't take all this truth. You got to feed me lies and, you know, tell me I'm pretty and all these things. You are pretty. Everyone's beautiful. I'm not saying that, but that's just the reality of the situation. I mean, this is what's going on with everything. I'm studying reality. I don't watch TV. Oh my God, I tell somebody something. Hey, this happened. And they're like, oh, that sounds like a movie. No. They put the movie out there as a psyops to distract you from what's really happening. And you think it's a coincidence that the Tom Cruise movie about him being a government agent selling drugs and selling guns, that movie just, you know, debuted last month. So now everyone's like, oh my God, it sounds like a movie. No. They write the movie based on reality, flip the script to make you feel a certain way, and then every time it comes up, you're like, oh, that's like that movie. And, you know, they're programming people through TV, through movies, through music. That's why nobody can have a rational conversation. That's why when it comes to the president, it's all negative, hate. And I've had, you know, friends of 10 years block me on Facebook and then text me, oh man, I agree with you on everything, but I'm just going to hate, you know, I'm going to post 15,000 statuses because that's socially acceptable. Now, they're programming people. They're programming you. They're programming everyone. That's just how I feel when it comes to this Las Vegas situation. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to watch the information available. And with that being said, new information today that's officially confirmed on the mainstream source is a cell phone not belonging to the Las Vegas lone wolf shooter found in his apartment room. But if you're following any investigative journalists on Twitter who have verified documents, you can tell that you already know there's multiple people involved because, I mean, what type of person, what type of like physical and mental genius do you have to be to bring up 33 guns in a heavily security you know, Las Vegas hotel, have all this stuff all over the place, smash out 2 windows, use tripods. I mean, you have to be like a freaking physically fit monster and mental genius. Like, you have to be a superhuman to do something like that. It's obviously multiple people involved. I mean, we'll see when it comes out, but just don't be surprised when everything that was originally told isn't true. I'm not saying on this they're purposely lying or anything, but I mean, it's just so sad to me and so weird to me that questioning things now gets you demonized. Like, hundreds of people got killed, and the mainstream media is blasting one narrative down your throat. It's everybody else's fault. We gotta regulate this, regulate that. Go ahead, take bump stocks off the market. Those were put under Obama's administration. In 2010, his firearms committee legalized bump stocks. No one wanted those legalized. Even Republicans don't want those legalized, so take them away. No one asked for them to come. That was under the Obama administration. Take those away. But as far as them being able to jam that theory down your throat, and then you're like, hey, I have a question, and everyone's like, don't question anything. What are you, a conservative Nazi? It's like, what the F is wrong with people? It's getting ridiculous. The Trump derangement syndrome, the media derangement syndrome is at an all-time high. I didn't even vote for the president, but I'm not a complete moron. I don't lose perspective and all rationale and all common sense and all my knowledge of the past 50 plus years just because, Donald J. Trump walked into the White House. I mean, people are being ridiculous. And that's how I feel. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you would like to support my news analysis, my link is below. Once again, I'm not personally investigating in a sort, but I'm listening to everybody. I'm watching all the evidence. I'm debunking lies that people are spreading about it. And I can see that it's a way bigger picture here. Of course it is. It's a guy with 27 guns in the room that just mowed down 60 plus people in the biggest massacre in United States history. And you think just go back to work and don't question anything and oh yeah, he had no motive? You've got to be kidding me. I mean, come on. Let's stay tuned. I'm not going to jump to conclusions, but I think questioning things is healthy. And if you stop questioning things and you just believe the mainstream narrative about everything, it's going to turn into 1984 land, which it already is. People tearing down statues and can't say this, can't say that. I see people posting statuses. Oh my God, they're coming after him now? Oh yeah, they're going to come after everybody because these people, they don't care about freedom. They don't care about equality. They're low-level, negative energy, hateful crabs that just want to tear everybody else down, and they think it'll make the world a better place. It's not. You got to build people up. You got to create solutions. You got to not complain. You have to be the change you want to see in the world, but that's too hard for some people. It's easy to complain. It's a lot harder to come up with a solution and put it into place. With Barack Obama and Trump, hey, you can be president of the United States. Just stop sucking so much and then become the best you could be. And maybe you could be in the White House and you can make those decisions. That's what a rational person thinks. But for some reason, it's trendy to just tear everybody down and yell at people who question things and who do investigations. Why don't progressives and Democrats start investigating things so we don't have to look to conservatives for investigations? Democrats and progressives don't investigate things. Some progressives do, but they're too busy covering everything up and yelling at everybody and blaming everyone else and pushing their political agenda. They don't investigate anything. That's the opposite of what apparently in 2017 these people stand for. Once again, much love. Thank you so much. I'm going to post my links below. I'm going to do more videos. Please check out my earlier video today about Google and what they're doing. They're demonetizing everybody. I want people to keep this in mind too as they're trying to take everyone's guns away. Okay, that's fine. Ban bump stocks. They probably should have done that and never legalized it. They're suppressing and taking hundreds of millions of dollars away from independent journalists, content creators, and news analysts. Meanwhile, they're ramping up their, politics. And this is a bipartisan issue. I don't care if you're left or right leaning. What do you think's going to happen if the corporations swallow up the people and blast one narrative? Do you think it's going to be freedom, peace, and equality for the LGBT community? Probably not. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to keep the flow of information real and have actual discussions. Stop blaming or judging or screaming at people. Let's talk about it. Let's get the best of all worlds, have a conversation, and create solutions together. That's what I want to do. And if it's not going to come from the government, we have to do it ourselves privately with our own companies, with our own time. That's what I do. That's what you can do. That's what many people can do. You can do it. Stop looking outwards. Let's look inwards. That's how I feel. Thank you guys so much. God bless America. God bless the world. And God bless your family. Have a great week.